They were quite close together. Rosemary Henderson on the right of the picture, at the back of the field.
Yeah, the one at the back there is Quirinus, I think, is at last going out of the picture. You don't want to be losing ground early in the race, though, Bill.
No, they've all had a pop out. Pretty closely bunched together. They've got all the track and they've kept themselves pretty closely, tightly packed there towards the inner and middle. Going across the Melling Road down to the first round, going just a good enough pace for this ground.
That's Mini Homer up there in the middle of your picture. Just to the left of him is Young Hustler. And they're going a good gallop. Riverside Boy this side, just jumping now. And the front one's all over safely, but now
Henry Mann just on this side, and the green colours going down. We also lose Elfast and the 4th of July.
Yes, Elfast is towards the middle of the field on the right of the picture. You can see that one quite clearly. A huge jump there from Double Silk. He really stood off at that first. Great shots here as horses get their first taste of the new national. Quirinus is tailed off at this stage. Third look at the first fence and the fallers here. Henry Mann, Elfast and 4th of July, but a tremendous jump there from Double Silk.
Double Silk jumped it really well. Just on the inner, there's a few nodding there. And the fellow just going past your picture. And there's Henry Mann, the first of the fallers. And
4th of July in the
4th
centre.
of July falling. Just speed has caught 4th of July out, I think.
And that is the way that they do fall. It's speed. They've gone a good gallop. Garrison Savannah on the far side, leading them at this stage. They come to the second, right on the rails. Jamie Osborne getting a great ride. You see the horse shorten there and put a gentle one in.
Yeah, they'll be now worried about the next fence, the ditch. I always think this is the testing time for a horse. You're going to, especially horses like Garrison Savannah that have been around the track before, they've got to find out, are they going to face this big ditch again?
Plenty of room. They've spread out. They're all having a good look at this big ditch.
Yes, Riverside Boy over it first. Garrison Savannah this side.
Usher Island there, just going there in the centre, in the yellow colours.
That's Usher's Island. He's gone, yes. Bad luck for him. Tony Dobbin out on his first ride at the third fence. But now it's Riverside Boy leading from Double Silk. Double Silk has jumped for fun. He's absolutely superb. Rosemary Henderson has just got one behind or two behind her. She's going down the outside, and as we know, she has a good ride.
The fellow in about 5th place on the outside, get plenty of room and getting a nice ride from Adam Conrad here. Mini Homer going just up the middle to winner, just on the inside of him, Laura's Bow.
Young Hustlers jumping well here too. Mini Homer has been settled back by Woody into a position now, and he's back in about 8th place at this stage.
It's the fellow just to his right. He has the blinkers there, he's going well. As you say, Double Silk, who you see the path just before Beaches. This is the big one now, all lining up for it. Ron Treloghan just pulling this horse back, looking for the stride there, going to it up. And a lovely jump by Double Silk.
Yes, we get a little bit of grief now as Laura's Bow falls, New Mill House, and It's a Cracker go. They'll come roaring into the picture. There's Double Silk leading and jumping well out over the drop there.
Jumping well, these horses, for the most part. Laura's Bow's gone. It's a Cracker there, just gone over to the top. Point of gravity went too far.
They were going to the smallest fence on the course now.
This is the Foyne-Avon fence coming up. Double Silk, he's running pretty free, standing off his fence, having a real cut at them. Garrison Savannah jumping very well on the inside. And for the most part, they jumped this fence well. Gay Ruffian there, just going, he didn't, he lost his jockey on landing and fell.
Take another look at that. Garrison on the right as we look. Ron Treloghan in the yellow colours asks and gets a super jump there. Little Young Hustler back in third and going well. The fellow's near enough.
Another one we see make a mistake at the back here, just jumping now, is Rock the Prince and Jonathan Lauer. But he keeps riding on and...
Bill, you didn't say he fell off, did you? That horse did a double somersault. But now look, because this is not particularly... they're going out and they're going to cut across, which a lot... You see Ron now, he's making for the inside, and what a huge jump.
Yes, it's almost the too big a jump, and it's taking him a little bit wide, and the others on the inside see getting a sharp turn in, and there's Rock the Prince hunting up the rear.
So we'll look at that from the reverse angle now. See how Ron cuts across. A bold jump on the inside Garrison. Young Hustler then. Mini Homer back in 5th place.
So Mighty Falcon just going past your screen there. Rosemary Henderson there going past, still having a great ride. Mr. Ed finding the pace a little bit hot at the moment.
So very quickly on to Valentine's. There's no time for thinking here as They're nicely spread out. This is a very comfortable time of the race for them.
It is. You're just beginning to get into a little bit of rhythm. I think once you've jumped beaches, you begin to think, oh, there. I think that was an unseated build.
That was Captain Brandy, I think.
Kevin O'Brien just falling out the side door, unfortunately.
Look at Garrison Savannah there. He loves it here, doesn't he?
Jumping for fun. Now, the fellows have been jumping really sweetly throughout the race, not making any mistakes at all.
Run for free, we can see there on the rail now.
Just struggling a little bit.
And Black Humour is in about 8th position at this stage.
Right on the outside here, we've got Topsham Bay just coming in the picture with a red cap. I think he's been looking for a bit of good ground, which
Loose
he's
horse.
struggling to find. There you get Young Hustler gets brought down really by that loose horse.
He had nowhere to go at all.
He nearly took out Mr. Boston as well.
Yes, Peter Niven hanging on for dear life there. He really was cannoned into.
That really knocks the stuffing out of you there. It's very hard to get back into the race when a horse has done that to you. See, Riverside Boys still wide under the stand side here. All jumping very well. Lovely sight now. Loose horses are even jumping well. Into the red, just going over there. Mr. Boston still carrying on. There's He Who Dares Win, and Rock to Prince still bringing up the rear.
So we sweep back up to the head of the field now. This good gallop has been maintained. It's a sensible gallop, but as they come onto the racecourse proper, Riverside Boy is nearest to us on the outside, going very wide. Ron Treloggan hasn't got much longer to be in the Martell National on Double Silk. And what a shame, because the horse is so full of running in the yellow colours there.
Richard and Woody just behind the leaders, and as he said in his interview afterwards, he didn't want to be in the front too soon, and these front runners are soon disappearing and leaving him right up there. On the inside is Ebony Jane. What a great race she's run. We were saying that she wouldn't run a good race after a hard race in the Irish National. We were proved wrong yet again, Richard.
Yes, we say these things to be knocked back. But here, the horse with the blinkers for the first time, Riverside Boy, he's enjoying himself. Later on, we'll see him slightly wayward. But this is a worrying time now with that loose horse in front. Which way is he going to go?
And I wonder if it just put off Double Silk turning over there, and Master Oates goes. Topsham Bay's Jimmy Frost got nowhere to go, and that interferes with several others there. What a horrible fall that is behind too.
Yes, some good horses wiped out there, I'm afraid. And it was the first wiped out of the race, but they're happily okay, and the race continues.
See how quickly the fellow altered in front of that fence there, Bill.
He's a lovely little horse. He's jumped round here so well. Coming to the chair now, I think Adam Conrad must have been thinking pretty sweet thoughts about going out for the second circuit here.
The narrowest part of the course, and with that loose horse between or beside Riverside Boy, that's a dodgy time, but happily he runs out. Now they're funneled in, and a bold jump from Riverside. Mini Homer back in fourth.
And that's Graham Bradley on Black Humour. That's what he did at the last fence on Thursday, and he's done it at the chair, and you don't get away from that.
Getting very thin out now, these horses. Coming another shot of the chair.
Here's a bird's eye view. Riverside Boy stood off. There's the fellow. Good jump. Loose horse, superb. Paco's Boy going over. He's running well. Here he is now, Paco's Boy.
They're having a great ride. Fiddler's Pike to the left, Just So.
And Just So was a long way back at this point.
Mr. Ed.
And further back, we've got Quirinus. Now, onto the water, the easiest jump on the course. They've done it once. They've completed half of this great race. Now they can start playing jockeys, and that is exactly what Woody does. The most brilliant exhibition of saving some for the rest. Now, superb as horses fly skywards. Mini Homer back in fourth place. Woody's happy to be there. Bernard Hathaway's colours, Southern Minstrel, over in fifth place here.
Paco's Boy just dropped his legs in the water there. One of the few horses to make a mistake at it.
Zeta's Lad, you know, the first time we've seen him back in about seventh place, Bill, but some way off the leaders.
He's probably been there throughout, I have to say, it's the first time we've seen him.
It's nice to see them actually going on to the country properly this time. Last year, this is where all the commotion was, and we all had to pull up. Mini Homer just gone to the front there. Richard easing him back a little bit.
You can see Riverside Boy there on the wide outside. He's starting to want to jack it in, going past the stables. He thinks it's time to finish and go back.
He must have seen the videos of Boomdocker and thought when Boomdocker refused here under John Williams, and the Boomdocker thought he'd had enough as well.
But he doesn't go much further.
Now this is the point, the first fence on the first circuit, and Garrison Savannah is the faller here. He's over on the far side in the orange colours, right close to the rail with Jamie Osborne on board. and Riverside Boy is nearest to us underneath. Now watch Garrison Savannah, he is knocked off by that refuser, so what a shame there, and another unseated rider.
Yeah, I think that was He Who Dares Wins.
Refused, I think, was rather what Chris Grant would be telling the clerk of the scales, not unseated rider.
What a shame for Jamie Osborne here. You'll just see the orange colours as the loose horse says no, and Garrison Savannah has nowhere to go at all.
Ebony Jane did well, didn't she, to get over from that?
Yes, indeed she did. Very clever. Now coming
Mark
over
Perry,
behind.
that's Mark Perry.
Yeah,
yes.
Run for free.
And he actually put the brakes on. He said, there's Rosemary Henderson, hands down, and Rock de Prance now going through. He's been struggling for a long way.
See the boys hiding under the fence there, just in case there's any more to come.
That was Mark Perrett saying, I'll sit here, thank you, that'll do for me. The race is over. But Woody is far closer than he wants to be, but he's out of trouble here on Mini Homer, who jumps that beautifully. Adam Condrat on the fellow has given us a beautiful ride, and Ebony Jane, who was fourth only on Monday in the Irish National, back in third place.
Saw Richard and Woody just looking across, testing his position. He won't want to be jumping beaches too near the inside. He's beginning to come back towards the middle a little bit. Ebony Jane this side as they go to that ditch. What a lovely jump from her.
Moorcroft Boy right in the centre. He's been creeping along, trying to make up a bit of ground there. Rock the Prince at the back's been not really jumping with any sort of fluency. I'm amazed to see him still there now.
Yes, we didn't quite get the one that jumped into the ditch there. When a horse has had enough, they will refuse. They know when they've had enough, and that was fine. He said no, and we're out. So, Rosemary Henderson up front has joined in the action properly. She's on the wide outside, and here we can see Mini Homer with a loose horse beside him. They're starting to come together, these leaders now.
See Richard on Mini Homer's come to the middle. See his head just pulling him round to the middle a little bit all the time. Adam Condrat on the fellows down the inside now. Rosemary Henderson just pecking there on Fiddler's Pike. Mr. Ed's really standing off on that, and oh no thank you, says Rock de Prince, but Jonathan Lauer gathers him up again and continues.
He hadn't been enjoying it at all, had he? So two loose horses now leading them down. You can see that they've gone clear, but you never know which way they're going to go. Woody is taking evasive action.
Yes, Adam Condrat down the inner. The trouble with those horses, they go to the inner and they'll sometimes come back across you, but the fellow nods here at Beeches, and I really think that put pay to his chances, Bill.
It did. It probably just the first mistake he's made. But the winner also, Mini Homer, he just had a fair nod at it. Not as bad as Rock the Prince at the back, though.
So let's take a look at that from another angle now. The sun in our eyes, but there is Mini Homer just slightly going left to right himself.
Yes, the answer with this fence is not to get them to pop into the drop, try and get them to jump over it, and all the jockeys keeping their propulsion up and standing off and jumping. And here is Rock the Prince.
So things are starting to really home in now. And it's the fellow who is just starting to weaken. He made a bit of a mistake there in fourth place now.
The horse just crossed him there, which didn't help him. And there's Jonathan Lauer and Rock the Prince again. Oh, better jump there. Just getting going now.
But now this, I'm afraid, is where we lose the fellow. Look for the red colours back in fourth place. Mini Homer up in front. Boys again going across on the angle. But the fellow, I'm afraid, not a good landing there. And Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed stops talking there. Another shot of it here. You see they just cut the corner well. Mini Homer puts in a great jump.
That's Simon Burrow on the inside, but poor old Adam, he really bounced.
Really hit that hard and turned him
But
right
just
over.
watch Mr. Ed now. He had nowhere to go. He tried to jump the fellow, and momentum took Derek Morris into mid-air. The fellow jumps up nicely, and he's happily safe and sound, and so is Adam Condrat.
Adam Condrat absolutely adores the fellow, so he'll be glad to see him all okay.
Now the race is settling down. There are only going to be a few left in it at the business end, and Just So, who we thought was going to be a really hard ride because he stays forever, is right bang up there on the inside.
He is Simon Burrow. It's just the pace of the race. When things are going a stride slower, they come back on the bridle and they enjoy themselves. Adrian Maguire there, and Moorcroft Boy just making a little bit of a mistake. Didn't jump the best all the way around.
No, he just was always sort of struggling to get a position, really, and Adrian's done very well to get him up at the sharp end. Woody here is just looking for a good one, which he seems to be able to see them such a long way out. A perfect jump by the leaders there. Moorcroft Boy jumped that one pretty good. There's Rosemary on her horse. She must be thinking she's absolutely having all her birthdays on one day, this ride.
When you look across at the far side, Liam Cusack on Ebony Jane, having his first ever ride in the National, is having a tremendous time, and Simon Burrow only having his second ride in the race.
Yeah, they both must be having tremendous feeling right now. There goes Fiddler's Pike, another great jump by him. Into the red, he's been struggling to get the pace and just creeping along, trying to get back in there. John White, last year's non-winner, must have been thinking maybe he's going to get another bite of the cherry today.
And this is where Woody thinks that he's plenty close enough. He knows Minnie Homer doesn't want to be in front too soon. He actually starts to take a pull, and that lets in Moorcroft Boy back into the action.
You could see him looking across there to see his great rival, Adrian Maguire, coming up his side, and Adrian Maguire's trying to close the gap there now. He's going to shut his passage off there. He doesn't want him given too much room to challenge the leaders. Not going to help this place. There's no quarter ask and no mercy given.
And you'll also see him later, quite rightly, gamesmanship. He edges over to the loose horse to give Woody as little light as possible.
That's just race riding. You've got to you don't want to help those on the inside of you. There's Ebony Jane just getting a slap down the shoulder from Liam Cusack. He must be thinking the National's nearly mine.
Well, the man who had bought Ebony Jane and then decided not to go through with the deal at this stage must have been really regretting that.
Just So's under a lot of pressure. He's a bit of a hard-working old horse, and he takes a lot of driving along, but he's the only one who really isn't on the bridle. The other three boys are all playing cat and mouse.
But what a season the Coles have had. Dubasilla has carried everything before, and now here in the Martell National, and he pops there and loses a length, Bill.
Just a little bit, and he's just a bit of an old stayer now, and he's off the bridle. The boys have got away from him now, and he must be thinking he's not going to get to win it. How have things changed on the run in there?
Now look, as this loose horse goes across them, which way is it going to go? That is the question. It eases back, and there is very little room there at all. Moorcroft Boy, very brave, stands off it. So, as we go back in the field, you can see that Woody is just starting to niggle now. He knows it's serious.
There's Moorcroft Boy, Minnie Homer, Young Hustler's a loose horse, and Richard on a loose rein there. He's doing nothing, Minnie Homer, just so. Simon Burrow trying to conjure up that second run, and look how confident that Richard and Woody is now. He's got him back on the bridle. He knows his horse pulls up in front, doesn't want to do too much too soon. It's funny how life works out. He must have been absolutely gutted to have missed the Cheltenham Festival, and it swings and roundabouts, and here he is back winning the Grand National.
But he's got nicely through there and quickly put paid to the challenge of Moorcroft Boy, who's run a tremendous race. But now the challenge is coming from Just So and Simon Burrow, and it's a serious one.
This horse really stays really, really well, and he's got him into top gear now. He's just getting up there, but I think Minnie Homer just has a little bit up his sleeve. He probably just does enough, and Richard Dunwoody, well, he just knows he's going to hold him if he can just hang on to the line. He might be owned by a comedian, but he's no laughing matter, this, and he's seriously at work.
Well, as they go to the last few strides, in actual fact, Minnie Homer starts to pull away, but well done to the connections. Martin Pipe has been champion trainer many times. He wants these big races.
I think he would swap all his championships for this. He's trained 200 winners in the season, but I'm sure this means more to him than anything.
But the second horse from the West Country as well, from Henry and Veronica Cole's yard, Simon Burrow in the plates there. This has been a race there. They've covered themselves in glory. A lovely stylish finish there from the champion jockey, and the punch says, that's it, I've won. Every jockey who fell is fine. The toothless grin from Woody does express his feelings. So the result, Minnie Homer, Just So, Moorcroft Boy, Ebony Jane, Fiddler's Pike and Roc de France.
Minnie Homer wins at 16 to 1. Second, Just So at 20 to 1. Third, Moorcroft Boy, the 5 to 1 favourite. Fourth was Ebony Jane at 25 to 1. And the only other two to finish were Fiddler's Pike, ridden by Rosemary Henderson, just missed the money by one place, or the betting money. And the last of the six to finish was Roc de France. Now, the first fence, claim 3. Henry Mann, Elfhurst. Sad to see him not get beyond the first, and 4th of July, but they were all fine. Then we came to the first ditch, and Usher's Island was the faller there. At the fourth fence, Romney King. That was as far as he got. Beecher's Brook, Three Irish boys together. Laura's Bow, New Mill House, and It's a Cracker. All the jockeys walked back together. They were fine. Fence number 7, Gay Ruffian, fell there. Fence number 9, Valentine's, Captain Brandy, unseated his rider. Fence number 11, poor little young hustler fell there, and Southern Minstrel was pulled up. Then we got to the unlucky 13th fence, the dramatic fence of the race. Double Silk interfered with, fell, other fallers, Topsham Bay, Mr. Boston, Master Oates, one of the best backed horses in the race, and brought down cantering, and Paul Harley was beside himself, Mighty Falcon. At the 15th, the chair, a crashing fall for Black Humour, but he appears to be okay. Quirinus, a long way behind throughout the race, also went at the chair. We came to the 17th. Garrison Savannah, absolutely cantering in second place, interfered with a faller there, or was it unseated rider? So unlucky. Run for Free also departed there. A bad fence for Martin Pipestable because Paco's boy was pulled up, and so too was He Who Dares Wins. Then they jumped the next fences, over beaches a second time, no fallers, until we came to the canal turn. That was where the fellow went out of the race. Mr. Ed was brought down there, and according to one report, so was Captain Brandy. Fence number 27, Rust Never Sleeps, went there. And then at the last fence, a fence where it's very rare for horses to fall, Zeta's Lad got that far and fell, and into the red unseated rider.